Welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports and something a little different today because, as I've often said, I am a reformed weight weenie. And what that means is that many years ago, I was always searching for very light componentry on my carbon bikes. I was sponsored by Cervelo and I had the R3SL, which was at the time like one of the lightest frames available. I don't know, 800 grams or below 800 grams, can't remember. I do have some images somewhere, and I was building sub 14-pound complete bikes with pedals, right, in a size 54. And what I've also had in the past, let's see if I can take some of you folks down memory lane. These are, let's see if it'll focus. These are zero gravity brakes. Wonder if some of you remember these. Make a comment down below if you remember these brakes. Now, at the time when I had these, it was because I was looking for lighter weight componentry to put on my climbing bikes. But now, as a reformed weight weenie, I am a strong proponent of eeBrakes. Now, these things are ridiculously light. But it's not, but that's not the reason I'm buying these for myself, buying these for my customers. The reason I'm buying these is because of the increased tire clearance that you get from a standard, let's say a Shimano Dura-Ace brake caliper, an R9100. I can fit a 30 tire pretty well, but a 32 tire out of saddle sprints, wrong gear, sprints, you're overgeared, you're torquing the frame, you're torquing your wheels, you're gonna get some brake rub, actually tire rub on the inside of your Dura-Ace calipers. I don't know about the Ultegra calipers. I don't know about some of these other calipers. I don't ride them, so I don't know. My apologies. I'm not an elitist. I just don't ride them. So what we have is a brake caliper. These are now what they call Generation 4. They are 100% CNC machined. And I mean, if you look at this thing, you would wonder, where is the braking power coming from? Because the modulation and the braking power is incredible in these. There's no doubt that these are significantly, I mean, they're very expensive, but they're worth it because the braking power is very, very, very good. The first time I got these, I put these on my Bianchi XR4 with direct mount. And I thought, well, maybe the braking power is so good because it's a direct mount. But no, I've put these on now, my Sally Macaroons, which is, the Ritchie is rated at 30 mil tire. But from time to time, if I'm doing a mixed terrain ultra, there was a 250 miler that I did that had like a 12-mile gravel section. So I put 32 tires on that bike, not to mention the comfort of a 32 tire. But these brakes allowed me to have that tire clearance. Now they are designed to have 22 to 28 millimeter rim compatibility. So you have your rim width, and then of course you have your tire up over the top. Many of you know I ride head wheels, so that is a 25 rim, so that kind of sits right in the middle of that range, 22 to 28. So I ride a 25 rim external width. Although I've been in talks with Ritchie, and they're going to send me a set of their wheels to demo, the WCS rim brake wheels. So, stay tuned for that. But one of the other things I like about these brakes is how easy they are to adjust. They are literally tool free, but if you wanted a tool, you could. So This little guy here, what that does is it centers the brake. So you know how you mount the brake, you have your mounting point here, and then you kind of move it from side to side and you center it. Well, you can do that, but you can also just turn this guy, and it does have, if I remember correctly, it does have a like a, I don't know, 1.5 mil or 2 mil little thing there, but you can just turn it with your fingers, so that's not an issue. And then for adjusting the cable for the brake, once your pads wear or whatever you want to do, this guy right here is what you would adjust it with. So, you know, personally, I mean they're 389 or 390 per, so they're not cheap. But, you know, for example, I'm building a bike for another gentleman with Campy Record, but they rate that at about 28 mil. And there was a thread on Facebook, Richie Road Logic uh, group, and Fergus from Richie showed the clearance on Campy brakes. So it's not that, it's not enough if you want to ride something bigger than a 28 tire. I think they rate it at 28. All these manufacturers, of course, want to run themselves safe, so you might get 1 or 2 more mil in there. When I ride the head wheels with the 21 internal, 25 external, the 30 tire grows to about 31 and a half mil. So just know that depending on your tire, depending on your rim, you might get a little bit more than the labeled size. A lot of you know that, but just thought I'd cover it again. One thing before we go any further, a word from our sponsors. If you're interested in trying Rev Energy as your carbohydrate fuel, clean fuel, complex carbs, no sugar, no flavor, no electrolytes, there's a lot of folks already using it that watch my channel. If you mention in an email, not a weight weenie, I will offer you for introductory, in other words, first time buyers only, 15% off of your Rev Energy purchase. All right, back to this. Now, when you look at these brakes, they're talking about this black arch spring, and I'm guessing that's the only place we're getting this this return, right? I mean, it's just an incredible brake. The design is awesome. I know I'm being effusive on these, but you have to understand that when you have such a lightweight brake and it performs so well, you have to talk about it. You do. Of course, you know, being a dealer, riding them myself, I mean, I just can't say enough good things about these brakes. I've got them now on 2 bikes. Yeah, 2 bikes. Probably going to put them on a third bike. I might have mentioned in a previous video that I'm getting a little bit of bike envy because everyone, all the 2025 Richies that I'm building, the gray Richie with the white logos, I'm just going to rebuild my old Richie, my old gray Richie from, I don't know, 2014. And I've got parts here. I've taken a frame apart. Got the Durace group off of that. Put some brakes on it so I can get some better tire clearance. That one's only rated for 28 tires, but I did ride it at PPP, Paris Brest Paris. I rode it with 30 tires on a Durace caliper brake. So, yeah, that frame will take a 30 tire. Let me just make sure. Oh, I know a lot of you folks, because you're still weight weenies and you can't get it out of your system. They claim these to be like 83 point something grams and 85 point something grams. Look, they're 85 grams, give or take. The point is, if you look at a Durace R9100 brake caliper set. These are half the weight. Half the weight. I would argue the performance is better. So half the weight, more tire clearance, better performance. I don't know. I can't fault these in any way except the price. I know that it's hefty. But on the other hand, for all of you that are rim brake fans like myself, it's getting very hard to find rim brake componentry. It is now March of 2025. And, I've got Dura shifters, I've got some Ultegra shifters, I've got some stuff, but a lot of it's going to be my private reserve for, if I crash or if Jesse crashes or bike gets damaged in shipping or something. So, unless you have a stockpile or you have maybe some other bikes that you'll cannibalize eventually to take the rim brake componentry off that bike to put it on your new builds or whatever, or like I said, incident that you crash or something. So, this is a viable option. You got to pony up, but it's a viable option. So, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you folks think. They have a 3-year warranty. They claim that they're more aerodynamic or aerodynamic design. I'm not worried about a brake caliper being aerodynamic. I think Tri-Rig tries to say the same thing about their brake. It looks like for my campy fans, it looks like one of those old Delta brakes, right? Remember those? So that's not as important because we all know that our body, our head, our shoulders, our frontal area is so much more important for aerodynamics, getting your head low. One other thing to consider, we all talk about, lower handlebars and slammed stems and these lower positions, but the other thing you need to consider is that the triangle between your head and where your hands and arms are going to be. So if you've noticed on time trial bikes, they've got the frame down, but they've got this elevated aero bar position, right? Because they're trying to reduce that little triangle of your head and your arms. So the closer you can get that closed up, the more aero you're going to be. So that's just a pro tip, just because that's what I do when I talk on my videos. We start with brakes, but we talk about other stuff. That's why I want you to watch the whole thing. And I don't put chapter headings because I want you to watch my whole video. Okay, so here's the thing. I know they're expensive. I've said it 10 times in this video. I'm not callous to that, but they work very well. I mean, I guess if you're building a steel bike and you want to make it lighter, this is a nice, a very effective way to do it because the brake is worth, what is it? The juice is worth the squeeze. I don't know what it's called. That expression is, but if something works really well and it is half the weight of something else, then why not use it? I don't know. So anyway, stay tuned. As I said, we're building a Road Logic with Campy, but we're waiting on parts to get here from Italy. We are also going to build another Road Logic with we're gonna do a component swap, but we're gonna put some cool stuff on there. We got a Praxis Dune crankset, which I also still need to do an unboxing for you. So stay tuned for that. And then lastly, last night and then this morning, I was exchanging messages with a gentleman that I think a lot of you folks may watch because I saw some common names making comments. I guess this old guy with a bike, he goes by Granny Gear, but he tested some tires that I guess were like 36 tires, and is there a place for those in road cycling? And honestly, I mean, 30, 32, I think that's more than enough. And if you're riding a very high quality tire like a Continental 5000 tubeless, I mean, I think that Pirelli 40 mil tire, what frames are accepting that except for a true gravel frame? No road frames that I know of, but make a comment down below and correct me. But if you're riding a gravel bike and you put those tires on, is the bike going to ride like a road bike? I don't know. I mean, the Outback didn't with 32 mil tires on it. So, yeah. But you folks can tell me better than, because you got different bikes than I own, because I'm only experimenting with bikes that I own. Okay. That is all for today. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you up the road.